Hey everybody, welcome to the field level at the LA Coliseum. I'm Ryan, he's Pete, after a 29-27 Packers loss.
Cool shot of the arch back there.
It is cool. They first time here, they light the flame during a Rams game. That was kind of neat. But yeah, like I was saying, 29-27 Packers loss. Pete, you kind of wrote big picture off this. What is the big picture?
Not super big picture. My takeaway was that, Ty Montgomery's decision to bring it out when he was told not to was inexplicable, and the fumble was a killer. But I still think they really lost the game. The possession before, when they got the ball back with about 6 or 6.5 minutes left, their own 21, they're up 1, they needed points. Field goal at least gives you some breathing room. Touchdown puts you in really good shape. Rams still would have had time, I'm sure, to score. But at least you're an offensive team. You got to win with offense. Their defense held them to 27 points to that point, I think it was, or maybe 26 even at that point. Their defense had done the job, and they're an offensive team. They're built that way. You got to get something there. They go 3 and out. They trot Montgomery. You and I were talking about it. They trot Montgomery out there in first down. Why they didn't have Aaron Jones out there as a run threat, run play action, or whatever. But there it was, and we got a lot of questions coming in now. But that's where I personally thought the game was lost more there than the Montgomery play.
But I will even go back earlier than that, Pete. I'll go to the 4th possession of this game. The Packers are up 10-0. A touchdown there. If they score a touchdown the 4th possession, 17-0, that puts the Rams in serious jeopardy. That is in serious trouble. 10-0 against this offense, as they showed, it's not much. 17-0 is different. Who's the running back on that possession? Ty Montgomery. Yep. A 2-yard catch, a 1-yard run, a 3 and out. They punt. They had a chance really early to put this game away, and they let the Rams, a very good team, 8-0, back into it. No excuse for that.
It's time for them to have a 2-back rotation. Use Montgomery on 3rd downs whenever you want. Throw him in there for a gadget play here and there, but it's time for 33 and 30 to split the playing time, with 33 getting more.
And what was interesting is that there was actually a time when Aaron Jones got the football when he shouldn't. Back in this end zone, 1-yard line, you have a power running back, a downhill runner in Jamal Williams, and Aaron Jones is the guy that gets the carry there. Now, Aaron Jones said after the game he's very good in that type of scheme. He's not Jamal Williams, though. He's not a downhill, between the tackles guy. It was clear they were going to run the football, a safety. This could be a building block game for them, but only if they figure out the running back rotation. And right now, they just don't seem to get it.
I think Mike said that he thought the defense was horrible. I got to disagree with you, Mike. I thought the defense was. This is a really explosive offense, considering how the Packers had played up to now. I thought their defense was fine. In the 4th quarter, a game on the line. I said in pregame, remember where I talked to that scout this week who said when you play an offense like this, yards don't matter, points do. Who cares what they do between the 20s? You got to stop them in the red zone. Well, they got one red zone stop and got a field goal, and they actually got a pure stop and got the ball back. I know they gave up a lot of points, but it wasn't. You give up under 30 to this team, and you have Aaron Rodgers and the offensive Packers have. You got it. They have to score 30 points. It's on the offense.
That's a defense they can win a Super Bowl with. They can win a Super Bowl with that defense. That's one of the best offensives, not the best offense in the league. They frustrated them all day, had 7 or 8 stops inside their home stadium, although it sounded like the Packers' home stadium. Should have said this is Lambeau Field West. But that's a defense they can win a Super Bowl with.
I guess the question is, will they play like this? And Tom Silverstein wrote about this. Do they play like this in the coming weeks, or was this just a game where they had 2 weeks to prepare, they were super healthy, and they just played better than they're normally going to play?
I don't know what you thought of this, Pete, but I thought it was pretty clear that they saved up for this game. They started with, and not just scheme, but usage. Aaron Jones got a 2nd straight start, but he got 7 carries in the first 3 possessions. Now, he only got 5 carries after that, but it was pretty clear. I mean, this was the game where they were going to ride their top running back. They couldn't stick to that, but I felt like they saved up for this game, and they put up a heck of an effort, but it was a loss.
Somebody was asking, it was a good question. Oh, who wins the division? I think the Vikings are going to win the division. That's who I'd put my money on.
Then we sound like homers on this defense. I suggest that you read what we wrote.
You're free to think that, and they're not. It's not like I don't think either of us is saying that this is a really good defense,
no.
But Is there a team in the league that has both a really good offense and a really good defense? There's not.
A really good defense would generate more turnovers, so they're not a really good defense. The question is, they have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. So when I say they can win a Super Bowl with this defense, it means as with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, with an offense that is supposed to do and hasn't done, but is supposed to do what an offense with Aaron Rodgers can do. If they can get that from the offense, they can win a Super Bowl with this defense. They haven't gotten that from the offense.
No, Tim, honestly, I don't think we're talking like they won. They lost the game. There are no moral victories here. Nope. They're 3-3-1 now. This goes in the L column. If they go out and play if they play a bad game next week against New England, then playing well tonight counts for nothing. The question is this a stepping stone game for their defense? Question. Jair Alexander had a really good game. They covered really well. Is this a stepping stone, or was this just they had all this time to prepare and played better than usual? We'll find out in the next couple weeks.
Clay Matthews put it really well. He said that he thought this was a game that they can build on, but then they're 3-3-1, and they're not really looking for games to build on. And that's exactly right. They shouldn't be looking at moral victories right now. They're 3-3-1. They're third place in the NFC North. They could have been a half game out of the lead, which would have been a much better place to be. It's not moral victories, but they played really bad the first 6 games. They played a lot better today.
The Vikings are getting smoked. If somebody has a score, if you could let us know. I haven't. The TVs weren't on in the press box. We just got done writing, so I haven't seen what the score is. If that's the case, then the Bears will be. If the Vikings lose, the Bears will be in first place, with the Vikings and Packers, I think, tied for second, right?
They're 4-2-1, so it'd be 4-3-1.
Oh, so actually,
Vikings and Bears.
Yeah, the Vikings would be ahead of the Packers because they have 4 wins. They haven't had
but Dennis just said time to say goodbye to Ty Montgomery. I thought before today that he actually gave some value on special teams as a kickoff returner. He had 2 60-yard kickoff returns this season called back because of penalties. After today,
30-20 Saints, I guess.
What's the value there? What's the value there?
I mean, I don't think they're going to cut him.
I don't think so either. But they had a chance to bring back Trevor Davis off IR, designated for return last week. Even if they do it this week, it's a week too late. I thought last week they should have designated Trevor Davis for return because their punt return game has given them next to nothing. They averaged 5 yards coming in.
If they had done it, he still wouldn't have played this week because I think it's still practicing for 2 weeks before you play.
Is that the rule?
I think so.
They should bring Trevor Davis back so that he can return kickoffs and punts.
Hey, thanks for the updates on the score. 30-20 Saints. And Rich Ryman, our Rich Ryman is joining us. 4:22 left in the game. So there you go.
Okay. Yes, you're right, Daniel. Ty Montgomery was supposed to kneel that football. They wanted to get Aaron Rodgers the ball back with about 2 minutes left, and of course they'd have one timeout. You've seen the script before.
Would have been interesting.
Either Ty Montgomery didn't know the plan or he didn't care. Like those are the two possibilities. And by the way, we don't know which one it was because Ty Montgomery declined comment after the game. When I went up to him and was going to ask him questions, J.K. Scott, 25-yard punt that he shanked and gave the Rams their go-ahead field goal, he commented. Mason Crosby after Detroit, he commented. Ty Montgomery did not comment after the game.
I think Cobb wasn't doing any punts at all. He just came out being injured, so I'm guessing that's the reason they didn't use him back there. And they trust Tramon Williams to at least catch the ball and not fumble the catches.
Patrick with a decent idea, put Jair Alexander back there. Now, they're going to want him for defense. I'm telling you, this defense on the perimeter covers a whole lot better than we've seen the past couple of years. And what was weird was their pass rush was actually getting home today, which I would not expect that to be a norm in any way going forward. But they cover a lot better on the perimeter.
Aaron Donald is a beast, and this is why you pay guys like him and guys like Mack. Game on the line, 3rd down. Rams needed the ball back. He just bowls over Lane Taylor and drops Aaron Rodgers. 4th down, Rams get the ball back.
Didn't see who asked, but do you see the Packers making any moves before the trade deadline?
They got to be looking hard. I mean, I don't know if they will or not. It's interesting that the reports about Clinton Dix being possibly on the trading block. I don't know why anybody would give up anything when you might be able to get him as a free agent this offseason unless you really need a safety right now.
Well, if you really need a safety right now, you're basically getting a safety that's continually getting picked on week in, week out, especially in the red zone.
Gave up another touchdown today.
At least the first 3 touchdowns off the top of my head were directly picking on safeties. The safety play for this team has not been good. I just said that they cover really well in the perimeter, and they do much better than we've seen the past couple of years. The safety play is as bad as we've seen the past couple seasons.
Well,
it's not good enough.
Paul said go for Chandler Jones, and he's like the perfect candidate because he's one of the better pass rushers in the league, and Cardinals they're out of it already, and they're trading some guys. But the report I saw today said that although they're willing to trade some guys, including Patrick Peterson, that they're not willing to trade Jones. Now you never know, but if nothing else, they're probably holding out for a lot more than the Packers would be willing to give up.
Hey,
I wonder if Josh Jones will get his shot.
He was on fire today.
He was great on special teams. He got downfield
really
fast, showed
good.
his 4.41 speed.
3 big special team plays I counted for him.
A couple more questions, and then we'll hightail it on back.
They have to win the next 8 or 9, or else maybe no playoffs for the Packers. Look, I don't think they have to win the next 8 or 9. I think they have to win 2 of the next 4. I mean, I think that's really where they need to be looking. Because the last 5 games, if you go and look at the schedule, the last 5 games are soft. They have a very, 2016 run the table. They should win the last 5 games.
Landon Collins, that's interesting. I'm guessing that he's one of the guys the Giants won't trade. But
I would agree.
But you never know. I wondered also about who's their pass rusher that they signed a couple of years ago for all that money.
Olivier Vernon.
Although he's been hurt this year, so he might be too much damaged goods. But he was another guy. I was watching the Giants a little bit. He came to mind.
Shields cutting loose. You're right, David. Sam Shields had a big day, and he went back to his roots as a former receiver against Kevin King for the catch on the fake punt. And an even bigger play than that was downing the ball at the 1, and 1 play later they get the safety. Sam Shields, it's good. Hey, it's good to see that he's healed, that he's healthy, and he made a big difference today.
Yeah, another long trip to back on the road next week for the Packers to Boston, although that's still not nearly as – it was a 3.5-hour flight out here. I'm thinking Boston's probably 2 hours tops. So it's not – the traveling isn't quite as much. But, yeah, this is a tough stretch here for the Packers, and back out to Seattle a couple of weeks after that for a Thursday game. Another long trip. So but every team has its challenging point in the schedule, and this is the Packers.
So, Tyler, you asked a question that a lot of people have asked. Why do they sign Bashaud Breeland if they're not going to play him? Because you can't have enough corners that can play. Bashaud Breeland, today they had all their corners healthy and available today, so they didn't need him. But you still need the depth. Bashaud Breeland he was sitting there on the market. They got a good deal on him. They signed him. That's why. When injuries hit, and they probably will because they always do, you're going to want a Bashaud Breeland, and you want to want depth, a veteran guy that can play to come in. So anyway, Pete, let's close it on this. 3-3-1 entering the midway point of their season. Where do they have to get to, in your mind, to hit the playoffs?
I think 10-5-1 definitely gets them in. 9-6-1's a little shaky, but the way these teams knock each other off, there's maybe a 50-50 shot that 9-6-1 gets you in.
So
that's my guess.
I think 9-6-1 would do it, but I think it's almost a coin flip at that point. It's maybe 55-45 that 9-6. I think 10-5-1 would get them in, which means if you're looking forward, I think if they win 7 of their next 9, and to do that, I think they probably need to win 2 of their next 4, and they're in good shape. But they're not in good shape. They're third place in their own division, near the midway point. That's why today mattered so much. That's why they lost an absolute golden opportunity to not only beat the only undefeated team in the NFL, but to improve their stock going forward for the rest of the season. It would have been a huge win had they done it. They didn't. There are no more victories. They lost. That's the bottom line. But we'll see. The big question, as Pete said, is whether they can build on this or whether it was a fluke and they're going to go back to what we saw the first 6 weeks, which was not good enough to make the playoffs. He's Pete. I'm Ryan. Thanks for following, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.